And here we are for our very last episode of Three Boodles. If you haven't been following along, this part of the story is just not going to make any sense at all unless you go back to the beginning. It's all here on the channel. This is episode 7, and we're going to have a total of 7 episodes because we are going to get all the way to the end today. So, when last we left our heroes, they were in a desperate situation fighting a water monster in a cave. And today we get to find out how they solve the boodle, if they solve the boodle, and what happens to Doug and Uncle Harvey and Uncle Riggs. And so away we go. Everyone get a rock. We're going to have to go swimming. I want to throw right before we jump in, Uncle Harvey said, picking up a stone from the wall. We have to get our rocks to the center of the lake and hope the monster will throw us. It would take some mighty throws. The jets would erupt from each skip, but with a couple seconds delay, so that if we were really fast, we might be able to swim to the center before the last jet shot up. I had my rock, the best one I'd found. Uncle Riggs grabbed one for himself. And when we get back, if we get back, you have to show me how you get so many skips, he said to me. I've been skipping rocks for 50 years, and I've never seen a rock get so many jumps before. I smiled a big, genuine smile. How could I have ever thought these guys were boring? On 3 now, Uncle Harvey said. Wait 1 sec, Uncle Riggs said. Kid, you gotta know, this has been one of the most fun boodles I ever did. I thought you weren't much, I admit, and now I'm glad the boodles brought you. That's double for me, Uncle Harvey said. If this doesn't work, I don't know what will happen to us, but either way, any which way, I think you're all right. Your mom, though, Uncle Riggs said, rolling his eyes. I laughed. I think she'll be happy to bring me over more often, I said, the biggest smile ever on my face. I might be a pest about it. This is the most fun I've had in forever. You guys are way better than video games. Not sure how to take that, but I guess it'll do, Uncle Harvey said. On 3 now. 1, 2, 3. We all skipped our rocks as hard as we could and sprinted to the water, diving in headfirst and swimming with all our might. The surface of the water erupted in jets where the rocks struck it. We were swimming so fast, the explosions were still behind us, but they were catching up fast, and we were so tired. I didn't know if I could make it, and I was also keeping an eye on Uncle Harvey, who was starting to lag behind. I was almost there when I heard a little hiccup behind me and saw Uncle Harvey's head disappear beneath the surface. Uncle Riggs was to my left and struggling some himself. He would never reach him in time. We had only seconds before the critical jet erupted, and for sure we were never getting another chance, not with this monster out here cruising back and forth looking for victims. I stroked back toward him once, twice, and reached down for him. Dang, it was so cold. My teeth were chattering and my muscles cramping up. I only had energy for 1 shallow dive, and I made it into the dark, frigid water. I could see nothing. I just flailed my arms about under there, hoping for something. And the hope was rewarded. I felt a hand brush my wrist and grabbed at it instinctively. I'd kicked off my boots long ago, but my clothes weighed me down, and I didn't know if I had the strength to get back to the top of the water. It was so hard, so dark, so heavy. A hand snaked out and grabbed my collar and hauled me up, and I pulled on Uncle Harvey, and then we all 3 broke the surface together, gasping and spluttering, but we didn't have half a second to get a breath before the huge bulge of the lake monster loomed over us, and we were going to be crushed anyway, after all this. And at the last second I felt the world turn upside down and I was flying, the roof of the cave rushing at me, and by a hair's breadth I missed the edge of it. And oh, there was the sun and the sky. The water fountained me and my uncles 10 feet into the air and disappeared underneath us, and we all landed with a whump on the dirt in the blazing sunshine. Nothing in the world ever felt so good as lying there, the wind knocked out of me, every muscle screaming, but the golden sun beating down its flames on me. I wanted to cook in it for the rest of my life. But almost right away it started to dissolve, to fade, and all the edges of the world got blurry like a watercolor painting. And something took shape behind them, something clear and solid, with straight edges and familiar outlines, and it stretched and pulled, and with a pop, the 3 of us were back in the garage again. We lay on the floor, too tired to get up. It was probably 10 minutes before Uncle Harvey craned his neck up from the concrete, looked around, and said, "Well, swear word, we lost all our peas." Mom couldn't believe that I wanted to go back, but I bugged her until I was hoarse, and finally she believed me. The first day we went up to a fishing hole they hadn't been to for years, way up on the top of Old Rag, a small lake filled with huge, hungry fish, and we climbed rocks and hiked and whittled, and no kid ever had more fun that day than I did, and it was only the first day. We see each other all the time now, and every time is better than the last. At school, I tried to tell my friends about what happened, but they wouldn't believe me. I guess it did sound kind of nuts when you tell it. But there was a girl sitting off by herself one day in the lunchroom. I told my friends I'd catch them later and went and sat by her. She didn't talk much at first, and neither did I, but now we're friends, and I can't even remember when I was too dumb to know that was a good idea. I kept thinking there would be another Boodle, but my uncle said they thought they were done. Nobody in the family ever had one at their age. You, though, Uncle Harvey said, you're young. You're going to forget things, and when you do, be careful. They'd had 5, they said, always together. You never knew when your life was going to get screwed up and you'd need a Boodle to straighten you out. So always be watching and keep your wits about you. When you least expect it, there you'll be. Things happen fast in a Boodle. Be ready. I hope you've enjoyed this story. And if you want to see some more, just let me know in the comments. Pass it around on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever your social media venue of choice is. And maybe we'll see each other down the road. This is CJ Lehigh. Thanks for watching.